Today, we're diving into a massive development in Prince Harry's ongoing legal battle against the Daily Mail. And let me tell you, this is the kind of victory the mainstream media conveniently forgets to report properly. The Daily Mail just got absolutely shut down by the High Court, and what happened is nothing short of brilliant. So grab your tea, settle in, and let's break down exactly what went down in this courtroom drama that has the tabloids shaking. First, let's set the scene. This isn't just about Prince Harry fighting alone. This is a coalition of 7 high-profile claimants who have come together to take on Associated Newspapers, the publisher behind the Daily Mail and Mail on Sunday. We're talking about Baroness Doreen Lawrence, Sir Elton John, David Furnish, Sadie Frost, Sir Simon Hughes, Elizabeth Hurley, and of course Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. These aren't random celebrities looking for attention. These are respected public figures who have allegedly suffered years of unlawful information gathering. We're talking about phone hacking, data theft, and illegal surveillance. The kind of stuff that would make you sick if it happened to you or your family. Now, the case has been moving forward toward a 2026 trial, and the Daily Mail has been doing everything in its power to derail it. They've tried every trick in the book, throwing up procedural obstacles, making accusations, and attempting to weaponize the legal process itself. But here's where it gets interesting. The Daily Mail's legal team recently made a bold, some would say desperate move. They accused Prince Harry and his fellow claimants of failing to meet their disclosure duties. Basically, they claimed that Harry's team wasn't sharing all the relevant documents for the case. The dispute centred around what's called a research team, a group of 3 investigators who have been helping the claimants. Dr. Evan Harris from Hacked Off, Graham Johnson from Byline Investigates, and Dan Waddell from the Media Reform Coalition. These aren't just random people. These are experts who have dedicated their careers to supporting victims of press misconduct. They know how the tabloid machine works from the inside. The Daily Mail claimed these researchers were holding back undisclosed material that was relevant to the case. And here's where it gets really telling about the Daily Mail's strategy. They didn't just ask for the documents. Oh no, they went nuclear. They sought what's called an unless order, essentially a legal ultimatum that would have forced immediate disclosure or risked having the entire claims struck out. Think about that for a moment. They wanted the nuclear option. They wanted to threaten the whole case because they claimed documents weren't being shared properly. This wasn't about fair process. This was about trying to kill the case before it ever got to trial. Enter Mr. Justice Nicklin. On November 10th, he published his judgment, and it completely demolished the Daily Mail's arguments. After carefully reviewing all the evidence, Justice Nicklin found no defiance and no bad faith from Prince Harry and his co-claimants. Let me repeat that. No defiance, no bad faith. The judge ruled that yes, the documents held by the research team do fall under the claimant's control for disclosure purposes. But here's the crucial part. He completely declined to impose any sanctions. The unless order, rejected. The threat to strike out the claims, denied. Justice Nicklin described the research team as experts engaged specifically for their experience in media misconduct cases. These are specialists, not lawyers trying to hide evidence. And the judge acknowledged their consistent cooperation throughout the process. The court made it crystal clear they trust Prince Harry and his fellow claimants. The judge specifically stated there is no reason to anticipate non-compliance. That's judicial speak, for these people are acting in good faith and we have complete confidence in their conduct. So what does this ruling actually mean? Let me break it down for you. First, the case remains completely on schedule for the 2026 trial. All 7 claimants retain their full right to proceed against associated newspapers. Nothing has been struck out. Nothing has been delayed. The Daily Mail's attempt to derail this case has failed spectacularly. Second, the court has reaffirmed its trust in Harry and his co-claimants' conduct. This isn't a small thing. In a legal battle where the tabloids have spent years painting Harry as difficult, unreasonable or vindictive, the High Court has just said they trust his approach and see no issues with his compliance. Third, and this is huge, the ruling actually narrows the Daily Mail's ability to use procedural tactics as a distraction. They can't keep throwing up roadblocks and making accusations. The court has effectively told them, enough with the games, let's focus on the substance of the case. And what is the substance? Whether unlawful information gathering occurred across the Mail's newsrooms, whether phone hacking happened, whether privacy was violated, whether journalists and private investigators broke the law to get stories about these 7 individuals. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because this is where it gets even more interesting. For months, the Daily Mail has been desperately trying to see what evidence Prince Harry and his co-claimants hold against them. Think about that. They're not just defending themselves. They're trying to preview the attack so they can prepare their spin, their counter-narrative, their media campaign. Justice Nicklin saw through this strategy. He confirmed that while parts of the material are journalistically privileged, they still fall within the scope of proper disclosure. But the publisher's bid to have the claims curtailed, it collapsed. Their limitation argument, their main attempt to say the case is too old and should be time-barred, dismissed. And here's where it gets absolutely damning. New evidence has revealed links between key journalists and the Mail that show why the claimants couldn't reasonably have known about the misconduct until much later. This destroys the Daily Mail's argument that Harry and others waited too long to file their claims. They literally couldn't have known because the evidence was hidden. Now, here's what we need to prepare for. When the tabloids lose in court, they don't just accept it gracefully. No, they typically double down in the media. We've already seen this pattern with Harry and Meghan over and over again. The judgment explicitly notes that the Daily Mail and allies in rival tabloids may react more aggressively toward the Sussexes. But here's the thing, we're used to that, aren't we? We've watched them smear Meghan for years. We've seen them twist every story about Harry. We've witnessed the coordinated attacks. But this ruling makes one point absolutely clear. The tide in this litigation is no longer in their favour. The Daily Mail is losing control of the narrative in the one place where spin doesn't work. The courtroom. In court, you need facts. You need evidence. You need to follow the rules. And by those standards, Prince Harry is winning. This case matters for so many reasons beyond just Harry and Meghan. This is about accountability for an industry that has operated above the law for far too long. This is about justice for victims of phone hacking and illegal surveillance. This is about whether powerful media organisations can continue to invade privacy, break laws, and face no consequences. Prince Harry has been absolutely consistent about this. He's not doing this for money. He's not doing this for attention. He's doing this because someone needs to stand up and say, enough is enough. The British tabloid press has destroyed lives, ruined reputations, and violated basic human rights in pursuit of stories and profits. And when you look at who's standing beside him, Baroness Lawrence, who lost her son Stephen to a racist murder and then had to endure press intrusion during her grief. Sir Elton John, a music legend who's been hounded for decades. These are people who have every right to demand accountability. So where does this leave us? With a clear court victory for Prince Harry and his fellow claimants, with a Daily Mail whose tactics have been exposed and rejected, with a 2026 trial date that's still on track, and with mounting evidence that's going to be very difficult for associated newspapers to explain away. The truth is coming out, and no amount of tabloid spin can change what happens in a courtroom when evidence is presented and judges make decisions based on facts and law. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to keep following this case every step of the way, bringing you the real story that the mainstream media won't tell you. And if you want to support this channel and help us continue this important work, you can donate via Super Thanks right here on YouTube, through PayPal, or buy me a coffee. All the links are in the description below. Every bit of support helps us keep bringing you the truth about Harry, Meghan, and their fight for justice. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember, the truth always comes out eventually, and Harry is making sure of it.